Good day, class. So today we'll continue our lecture. So I think today is the week for the intramurals. So we just have a short lecture so that you won't be left behind. We won't have any activities, but I'll just be uploading this so that you can watch this anytime. Okay, so MMR is a research methodology, so or mixed methods research. So the entire process of research includes the philosophical assumptions of inquiry. So when you're talking about that, it talks more about the viewpoint that you're taking when you're doing your research. And of course, the data analysis, which is analysis of data, data collection, ask the right research questions, data interpretation, and data reporting. The next, what are the characteristics of quantitative research? So in this slide, we're going to talk about the involvement of quantitative research in mixed methods research design. So quantitative research have variables. So when you're talking about variables, you have what you call the independent variable and the dependent variable. So if there are changes in the independent variable, the dependent variable, the values for the dependent variable, of course, it changes. Then you have hypothesis, the questions, the research instruments. So we're going to look at close-ended questions, the reliability and validity. So there are actually tests for reliability and validity in quantitative research. So I think in my dissertation, what I did in testing this was to take the Cronbach's alpha. Then you have the statistical analysis. Then generalizability, replicability, control of variables, and lack of bias. So it's really important in a quantitative research that it could be replicated by other researchers as well. And of course, the results could be generalized, and then you could control the variables, and the most important is that there is no bias when you are doing it. Then, how about qualitative research? So when you're talking about qualitative research, you're looking into the central phenomenon. So you have broad general questions supported with specific questions. So what we usually do in qualitative research is we try to explore when we are asking questions. Of course, we have a guide, but we try to explore until we get the answers to our inquiries. And the views of the participants, the reciprocity and respect, the descriptions and themes. For example, in one of the research that I did, one of the recurring themes was, I think it was a research in spatial intelligence. One of the recurring themes was, I think the, I think I described it in one word. One of the recurring theme was about the struggle of students. So I coded it as struggle because that was the recurring theme when I was interviewing them. Then the interpretations, the flexible structure, the minimum advocate for group or individual. And when you are doing computer-aided qualitative data analysis, we use software such as Orange. So it's a data mining software, but its limitation is that it could only detect if you are if you are positive or negative to the phenomenon that uh, you are investigating. So I think the right term for that is whether or not your participants are positive or negative to one idea. It could detect it. It produces values from 1 to -1. So that's when you use computer-aided qualitative data analysis. It has its limitations. That's why I prefer for qualitative research to really take my time in interviewing until such a time that I'm contented that I have already investigated and asked all possible inquiries. So, mixed method research involves collecting both data, both from the quantitative and qualitative data. From the quantitative data, we have the research instruments. So you could either adapt or adopt. So when you adapt, you just copy the entire research instrument word for word. But when you adapt, you cite the original instrument, but you're going to make some changes into it. Then checklists and records. So that's for the quantitative data. For the qualitative data, you're going to look into interviews. That's what we usually do in our course. Observations, documents, and audiovisual materials. Then MMR involves analyzing both data. For the quantitative data, we use statistical analysis to analyze the data or description for comparing groups for relating variables. For qualitative data, we analyze text and images for coding, for theme development, and for relating themes. That's why, guys, for me, it's much easier to do the quantitative analysis because you could actually read a lot of literature on how to analyze the results. Then it's just mathematics. Um, for someone like us with a background in engineering and architecture, we are more aligned in analyzing quantitative data. That's for me. I'm more into quantitative data. It's harder, excuse me, to read the emotions of the people that you're interviewing. Imagine you just have five participants that you're going to interview, and then going to interview them, then you get the themes. But for someone like us who's trained in mathematics and engineering, how do you generalize the results of that? So that's why I think it's trickier to do the qualitative data analysis. It actually, for me, it requires a lot of practice, and you need to attend a lot of seminars before you could actually get uh, um, scientific data that's acceptable. So MMR involves mixing both data. So here, you, in this example, you try to converge the data. You converge the qualitative results and the quantitative results. And here, you connect the data. First, the qualitative. Connect it with the quantitative data. Then, you get the results. Or, you could also embed the data. So, for example, in a large quantitative study, you're going to embed a little bit of qualitative data just to get more insights on what you are looking into or investigating. So the purpose of mixed methods research, according to Green, Caraccelli, and Graham, is triangulation, complementarity, development, initiation, and expansion. Triangulation means that um, you could get further insights. You could get into the bottom of things of what you are investigating or looking into. Complementarity means complementing both results. Of course, you need it for development, you need it in order to initiate something, and of course, you need to expand an idea. Okay, next slide. So, triangulation. So, it involves the use of qualitative and quantitative methods in an effort to reach convergence of findings. So, you have to reach the converging point. So, this is a sample of triangulation. So, I'll read the abstract. So, this article is based on a study of international scientific collaboration between Australia and China. The analytical approach adopted for this research takes the concept of scientific and technical human capital as a starting point and seeks to explain the role and to the extent to which collaboration networks can be utilized as a potential source for gaining access to flows of knowledge that contribute to both building research careers and strengthening national innovation systems. The study is based on a combination of bibliometric analysis and interviews. The bibliometric analysis indicates that international scientific collaboration between the two countries has expanded rapidly, from just four co-authored papers in 1981 to 2040 in 2010. The interview suggests that a framework of exchange can be used as an approach to explain the underlying dynamics of collaboration. The findings suggest that augmenting the information base with qualitative data helps toward a more comprehensive understanding of science, technology, and innovation dynamics. This has potential implications for the formulation of future policies with respect to STHC. Okay. So this is an example of a triangulation class, an abstract which did a triangulation. So look at triangulation. You use qualitative and quantitative methods to reach convergence of findings. So in this case, they they're going into qualitative data in order to explain further the quantitative results. I think it's stated here. The findings suggest that augmenting the information base with qualitative data helps toward a more comprehensive understanding. So it helps in making a more comprehensive understanding of ST and I dynamics. So the next is complementarity. So the use of qualitative and quantitative methods to examine the overlapping and different facets of a phenomenon in order to obtain a more meaningful understanding of the phenomenon. So this is an example of complementary. So let me read. The use of information and communication technologies in higher education has proved to be very effective in different educational environments. A less explored area is their application for evaluation online since it is a different process with specific components. This work describes a methodology that combines assessment with multiple choice tests through the virtual environment Moodle and the evaluation by using traditional classroom exams. The proposed mixed method methodology, ELFF, was implemented during the year 2010 to 11 in the subject microeconomics, markets and competition, the European Union of the double degree in law and business administration and management. To assess complementary aspects of the knowledge acquired, the obtained results show that it clearly promotes the participation of students increase their motivation, and improve their competence, and so their performance in terms of qualifications. So here it's highlighted when you read the abstract that states here that in this statement, a less explored area is the application for evaluation online, since it's a different process with specific components. So that is why um, there is mixed methods that is done in order to determine a complementary design to describe the less explored area on the study, which is here the application for evaluation online. So it's not enough to do just one type of research. You need to complement it with another. So in this abstract, we use both qualitative and quantitative data type of research. So development is using one method after the other so that the first method guides the second in terms of decisions made about sampling, measurement, and implementation. So let's read an abstract relating to it. For example, in sample article, this paper describes a mixed methods research approach for identifying practitioner perceptions, the most useful project management practices to improve project management performance. By identifying the perceived most useful tools and techniques as having the most potential for increased contribution to project management performance, practitioners and organizations can select their priorities when improving PM practices. The research involves a program of 30 interviews with project management professionals in Portugal, followed by a global survey. Completed questionnaires were received from 793 practitioners worldwide, covering 75 different countries. The results showed that the top 20 of the list of the most useful tools and techniques is composed of very well-known and widely used tools such as progress reports, requirements analysis, progress meetings, risk identification, and project scope statement. PM practices in the top of the list cover the overall PM life cycle from initiation to project closing, but particular relevance is given to tools and techniques from planning. The areas of knowledge, scope, time, risk, communication, and integration assume a high relevance, each with at least three PM practices on top of the list. So in this example, guys, you could see that they use one method after the other. So the first method that is being described in the study guides the second in terms of decisions that you're going to do about the sampling, measurement, and implementation. So that's for development. The next is initiation. So when paradoxes are discovered, consistencies and discrepancies in qualitative and quantitative findings are compared and analyzed for new perspectives and insights that can yield new questions. So here, we're going to look into consistencies and discrepancies in any qualitative or quantitative findings. So it doesn't matter what the order. You could either do the quantitative first, then do the qualitative, then you're going to look into discrepancies so that you could gain new insights by using another another uh, research type. So, for example, if you can find inconsistencies in the quantitative aspect, you could use the qualitative aspect to look into uh, those that were not covered. So, the next is expansion. So, both qualitative and quantitative components are included in a study to increase its scope and breadth. So, there are specific studies, guys, that If you want to increase its scope, for example, there it has only a certain limit. If you're going to use the quantitative, you could only delve into limited aspect of the study. But if you include the qualitative aspect, you're going to increase the scope further. So that is what you call expansion. So that's one of the purpose of mixed methods research. So I guess we already discussed about. So I'm going to end this here. We already discussed about the purpose of mixed method research. Discussed about triangulation, complementarity, development, initiation, and expansion. So, if you have further questions or inquiries, don't be shy to approach me anytime. Enjoy your intramurals and see you next week. We're going to have an activity and we're going to meet um, in real time online. Okay, amping guys.